Alright, welcome to the Creepy Villain MMA show. I'm your host. Here we are. We look handsome as ever. Creepy Uncle Nick, and that is Dylan, the fucking all-star villain. Huge news in the world of MMA. This is the buzz all over the MMA scene. The Creepy Villain MMA show has officially got their first fighter. Sponsored their first fighter. Take a look. Here he is sporting his Creepy Villain MMA shirt, winning first place in some sort of grappling competition.
King Grappler. You can check it out on usacombat.com.
Dylan the Villain. Still undefeated. Nobody even scored a point on him on that one.
Nobody's ever scored a point.
What a fucking stud. We're going to go over the UFC on Fox card, Fox number Deuce, which was kind of boring. The Damian Maia versus Chris Weidman fight was super boring. I did not enjoy it, and I thought Damian Maia fought like a tard.
Yeah, he's standing up now. He's basically abandoning his best thing, and that's the ground. And basically, all he wants to do is stand up.
I don't know if he was too worried about Weidman's wrestling or something like that, but his jiu-jitsu is so high, I was really surprised he didn't try to keep it on the ground a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
And he lost. All of these went to decision on the main card. Chael Sonnen beat Michael the Fag Bisping. And it was I thought Sonnen won, but I heard there's some controversy over it, but I thought Chael Sonnen won. I don't think he won all 3 rounds. I thought he lost the first round possibly, but definitely lost all 3. Or definitely lost the fight, I thought.
Yeah.
And then Rashard Evans beat Phil Davis in a 5-round fight. Actually, to be honest with you, that fight I was somewhat impressed with. Rashard Evans did a good job on dominating a tough opponent like Phil Davis, showing that he has great wrestling. So a lot of people don't look at Rashad's wrestling enough because he used it very well against one of the top wrestlers in MMA. Everybody thought Phil Davis was going to be able to out-wrestle him. And Rashad did a good job of, actually did better on his wrestling than Phil Davis did.
Yes, he did. And I think Phil Davis this was a good fight for him. He can definitely learn a lot, and I know he will. And it was a good fight for Rashad, and good victory. Now he gets Johnny Bones Jones.
Yep, and that's supposed to be in April.
Yeah.
Should be a fun fight. That's a tough one for me to call, too, man. I don't know yet.
But I guess UFC on Fox 2 was tied for the second most views in UFC history, like the highest watched UFC event. Tied for the second.
I didn't see that one. That was It's too bad that there was such garbage fights.
Yeah.
I heard the prelims were good though. I didn't get a check.
Yeah, they were pretty good. Cub Swanson got knocked out. And,
Nick Lentz, I heard.
Yeah, his eye.
Exciting fight.
Yeah, his eye got real big, and Evan Dunham won it.
This weekend though are the huge fights. Starting off with Nick the Dick Diaz, who's 27-7 with 1 no contest. He's the former Strikeforce welterweight champion, former WEC welterweight champion, which I did not know. He's on an 11-fight win streak. He has his most recent notable wins are against BJ Penn, Paul Daly, KJ Noons, Frank Shamrock, and Scott Smith. His last loss was to KJ Noons in November of 2007. And he will be going against the very dangerous,
the natural-born killer Carlos Condit, who is 27-5. He's the former WEC welterweight champion. He's 12-1 in his last 13 fights, which that's impressive, and has wins over Dong Young Kim, Dan Hardy, Rory McDonald, and Jake Ellenberger. And his only loss in the UFC was to Martin Kampmann, and that was in his UFC debut.
A lot of people think that was because of the UFC jitters.
Yeah.
Kampmann is a pretty good fighter, though, so I can...
That was a split decision.
Yeah, yes. This is a tough fight for me. I'm still but I'm going to go with Nick Diaz because I love Nick Diaz. I want to see him fight GSP. Carlos Condit has really great stand-up, and he's got good jiu-jitsu, too, but I just think Diaz is better. I think Condit's stand-up is more versatile, like he's got kicks and stuff like that.
St. Pierre thinks Carlos has the best knees in MMA.
Yep, but St. Pierre just sided with Nick Diaz as saying he thinks he's going to win. So
yes,
that's what I pick is Nick Diaz.
I'm picking Nick Diaz as well. The striking is fairly even. Carlos is more diverse, as you said. Nick's got probably better than boxing. Nick's probably has a better jiu-jitsu too. But I'm going with Nick Diaz. I want to see that fight against St. Pierre in November.
Me too. I can't wait. The next one is Roy Big Fatty Nelson, who is the Ultimate Fighter Season 10 winner, the former IFL heavyweight champ. He has wins over Crow Cop, Stefan Struve, and Brennan Schaub. He's got losses to Frank Mir and Junior Dos Santos. And he will be going against
Fabricio Verdum, who is 14-5-1.
Come on, I'll say it. He has more grappling champions than Dylan the Villain here.
It has wins over Fedor Emelianenko, Antonio Silva, Mike Kyle, and has losses to Alistair Overeem and Junior Dos Santos.
This one, to be honest with you, I kind of think Fabricio Verdum is going to win, but I am a Fabricio Verdum hater, so I'm going to go with Big Roy Country Nelson. Big Roy Country Nelson.
Yeah.
What the hell is that? Big Country Roy Nelson.
Yeah, I'm going with Big Country too. I'm not the biggest Verdum fan either. He kind of just relies on his one dimension. That's his ground game. But actually, Roy Nelson's last two fights have been very boring. One against Frank Mir, that was boring, and then one against Crow Cop where he stopped him in the third round, that was boring too.
Yeah.
But I'll go with Big Nelson. He's a tough fighter.
I just think his hands are a little bit better. I heard Verdum has decent hands. I haven't seen him in any of the fights, and so I'm going to go with Big Fatty.
And Fatty's also black belt in jiu-jitsu as well.
But not on the same level, though.
Yeah.
Next fight is Josh Koscheck, who is 18-5. He is the 2001 Division I champion and an NC Division I national champion 4-time. He has wins over Matt Hughes, Paul Daly, Rumble Johnson, and he's got losses to GSP, Paulo Tiago, and Tiago Alves. He'll be going against
Mike Pierce, who's 13-4. His wins are guys I've never really heard of: Paul Bradley, Kenny Robertson, and his losses to Johnny Hendricks and John Fitch, and those are two top 10 guys at the welterweight division.
Yeah, but those two guys are great wrestlers, and so is Josh Koscheck. So I'm going to pick Josh Koscheck on this one for that reason. I think Mike Pierce is a solid fighter, but I think he's not at the same level. So I'm going to go with Koscheck after his long layoff.
Yeah, Koscheck, well, the thing is, will he use wrestling, will he just stand and pick him apart? I can see him finishing on the feet too. He looked impressive against Hughes, but
Hughes isn't really the stand-up guru.
Yeah, I'm going with Koscheck as well. Mike Pierce wanted this fight, and he's going to get a fight for sure.
And he's going to get his ass kicked. Coming up after that is a fight that I'm looking forward to. Renan Ambaro, or however you say his last name, who's 29-1. And he has wins over Brad Pickett and Cole Escovedo. Lost his very first fight in 2005 and has won every fight ever since. He is going against
Scott Jorgensen, who's 13-4, with wins over Jeff Curran, Ken Stone, Brad Pickett, and has losses to the champ Dominic Cruz.
I'm gonna go with Renan Barrow guy. I can't pronounce his last name for some reason, but he looked really impressive to me against Brad Pickett, and he's a beast. So I'm gonna pick him. Scott Jurgensen's great too, but I'm gonna go with that. I think that Barrow's gonna keep his winning streak alive and be I actually think he's gonna be a title contender within the next few fights.
Yeah, because the bantamweight division is slimming down with contenders. I'm going with Scott Jorgensen. I can see Barrow winning. Scott Jorgensen, I think, could utilize his wrestling in this fight, take him down, hold him down, like possibly could neutralize his jiu-jitsu, stop that. But I think this is going to be a classic bantamweight fight. Both the guys are non-stop energy, and they're going to keep moving. It's going to be entertaining.
Oh yeah, definitely. Jorgensen's had so many awesome fights in WEC, and I just don't see it. He's just constant forward and throwing punches. He's constant movement. coming up after that, or actually it's probably before that, is Ed Herman, who you can see here getting a painful BJ, is 19-7 with wins over Kyle Noak, Tim Creeder, and David Loazo. He has losses to Aaron Simpson, Alan Belcher, and Damian Maya. That's funny stuff. And he's going against
Clifford, the Big Red Dog Starks, who's 8-0. He wrestled with Cain Velasquez at ASU and has wins over Dustin Jacoby in his UFC debut. He's making his second fight in the UFC.
This is actually kind of a hard fight for me to pick. I'm going to go with Clifford Starks only because he is a great wrestler, and Ed Herman struggles, against great wrestlers. I think with the Aaron Simpson and Alan Belcher. So, although he did beat Kyle Noak, I'm going to go with Clifford Starks anyways. Ed Herman, I've never been really impressed with Ed Herman. For me, he's like a what the heck is the Pitbull guy's name? Not Pitbull, but the Doberman.
CB?
Yeah, CB Dalloway. He reminds me of him for some reason, where I just don't like him very much. So I'm gonna go with Clifford Starks.
Yeah,
He's a ginger, man. It's fucking creepy.
No souls. Like you said, I've never been impressed with Ed Herman, except for his last fight against Kyle Noak. He completely destroyed him at UFC Milwaukee. We were there. And he also finished Tim Creeder in his fight before that in like 22 seconds.
Yeah, Tim Creeder. What a fucking standout.
Yeah. So I'm going on a limb. And I'm picking Ed Herman, but I could be wrong.
You will be wrong. There ain't no goods about it. But then, upcoming events in February, besides this awesome card that we just went over for you. February 15th, there's UFC on Fuel, which features Diego Dirty Sanchez and Jake Ellenberger. Then on February 25th, it's the UFC's making its return to Japan with a huge card. Edgar versus Henderson, Rampagers versus Vader, Anthony Pettis versus Joe Lozon. What was that other fight that's on there that's really good?
Jake Shields versus Sexy Yama.
Sexy Yama, yes, that's an easy fight for Shields. He should look good. Can't wait for that stuff, and I'm sure there's going to be more fights coming up too.
Yeah.
And then news: we have Overeem was charged with battery after the Lesnar fight. Supposedly he did something to a fan or something like that. That's kind of stupid. Somebody probably just trying to get some money.
Yeah.
Overeem might have had a roid rage after completely dominating Lesnar and retiring him and making my life a living hell. What's the other one?
The other news that we found out was the UFC.com was hacked, and Dana White was pissed.
Yeah, I heard that they released this criminal record and everything like that too.
Yeah.
At least they didn't release that picture. Like they could have put that one picture of him doing the boxing class for the chicks.
Yeah.
Put that on the UFC. That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Next time, do that, hacker, anonymous hacker. That's pretty much it for the Creepy Villain MMA show. Dylan the Villain has a big fight coming up February 11th, so let's root for him on that one. Let's see if it even happens.
Don't be scared, homie.
Yeah, don't be scared. And then look us up on Facebook. Hopefully I can figure out why in the heck it didn't let us load up our last video and load this one up there. And on YouTube. You have yourself an awesome time.
We're about to kiss.